Pokemon Stadium, released on February 29th, year 2000 for the Nintendo 64. At the time, it was a revolutionary game, bringing the 2D sprites of Pokemon into the third dimension. And although the graphics of the game didn't hold up, this game was beloved by all children who played it back in the day. But what made the game so great? Was it all the Pokemon battles? No. Was it the fact that you could play through the 8 gym leaders just like the original games? No. Was it because you could play your original Pokemon games on the TV? While that is still very cool, no, it is not that either. Pokemon minigames are a staple to the Pokemon Stadium series, being in my opinion one of the best parts about the game. These minigames are super creative and help give the personality to the Pokemon that are in them. Though there are only 9 minigames, each one is unique and completely different from the other. You start off by logging into the main menu. Once you log into the main menu, you can pick whether you want to choose which minigame you play, or you can compete to see who is the best. In the rank mode, all you do is play the different minigames until you win a star. Each minigame you win gives you a star, and depending on the amount you choose, determines how many stars you need to get in order to win the game. Now, like I said before, there are 9 different minigames in which you can choose from. These 9 minigames are Magikarp Splash, Clefairy Says, Run Rattata Run, Sushi Goes Round, Thundering Dynamo, Snore Roar, Ekans Hoop Hurl, Rock Harden, and Dig Dig Dig. In Magikarp Splash, the goal of the game is to jump and hit the counter until the time runs out. If you're the player that has the most points at the end, you win. Now, even though the goal of the game is simple, there is actually a secret mechanic to this game. After you make your first jump, as your Magikarp is landing on the ground, if you hit the A button at the moment the Magikarp touches the ground, he will immediately jump right back up, rather than taking a moment to land. Even though it is hard to pull off, it's still a really cool technique to learn. Next up is Clefairy Says. In this game, the teaching Clefairy will give you directions for you to push on the directional pad. As the lesson goes on, more and more directions will be added. Get them right and you'll continue on. Get them wrong, and she will beat you with a hammer. Be the last one standing and you'll win. There's not much in regards to winning with a technique. Just have good memory. But I will say in one of the games I played, somehow the computer made it all the way to the end with me. The only reason I got the win was because I had more health. This was on normal. On normal. What the fuck? Now let's move on to Run Rattata Run. In this game, the goal is to race to the end of the track and get the first place. To do this, you have to tap A as fast as you can. And as you run through the track, little obstacles will pop up right in front of you. When this happens, simply push the up arrow key to jump over it, make it to the end, and you win. Next is Sushi Go Round. Now this one is where the difficulty starts ramping up. You play as like a tongue in a sushi restaurant, and the goal of the game is to eat as much sushi as you can while racking up the highest bill. Each sushi costs a different amount, and the more you eat of the same kind, the more bonus points you get. So depending on which ones you get, you can eat almost no sushi but still end up winning. You just have to strategize the right way. Heading on over to Thunder Dynamo. In this game, you'll play as a Voltorb or a Pikachu, and every time I don't get Pikachu, I want to end my life. The goal of the game is to rapidly push the A and B button depending on the color shown on the screen. Blue is the A button, and green is the B button. Push the buttons fast enough and you'll electrocute the rest of the Pokemon. What the? Alright, the next game in my opinion is the worst game of the bunch. In Snore War, you play as a Drowsy trying to hypnotize the other players to fall asleep. You do this by tapping the A button when the pendulum gets in the center of the needle. As the game goes on, the pendulum moves faster and faster, making it really hard to pull off, and I am unable to win this minigame to save my life. Next up is Ekans Hoop Hurl. You play as Ekans, and your goal is to launch Ekans like a hoop on top of a Diglett to get points. There are multiple rows and columns that Diglets can pop out of, and towards the end of the game, sometimes Gold Diglett will pop out, giving you extra points. You can aim your Ekans with the directional pad and launch them with the control stick. The farther you pull back on the control stick, the farther Ekans will be thrown. And over now to Rock Harden. You'll play as a Kakuna or a Metapod as rocks are thrown at you. Guys, why are we trying to murder Pokemon so much in this game? The goal is to push the A button, causing the Pokemon to harden, stopping the rock from crushing you. Survive till you're the last one standing and you win. Although this game is really simple, there's a little bit of technique to this game. If you pay attention to the shadows on the ground as the rocks fall, you can help predict when the rock is about to hit you, helping you to preserve your energy. And last but not least, we have Dig Dig Dig. In this game, you play as a Sandshrew, and the goal is to dig down until you hit water. You do this by rapidly tapping back and forth the L and R button. Do it fast enough, and you win. Now, the minigames are great and all, but there are actually other things to do in the game. As I stated earlier in the video, there are stadium battles where you're able to choose whichever Pokemon you want to compete in the competition. As well as you can fight the 8 gym leaders from the original Pokemon games of Red and Blue. Either way, I highly recommend playing the minigames with a good group of friends. There's a lot of fun to be had from these. Now, even though these games are fun, I wouldn't say they are without problems. I played this game on the Nintendo Switch Online service, and I noticed there were some issues with the different controllers. If you use a regular Pro controller, for some reason, it didn't respond very well to my button commands. It was almost like there was a delay, and for some of the mini games, it's almost impossible to play. And Rat-a-tat Run, the buttons were so delayed that it made it almost impossible to jump over the obstacles as they were coming up. And Ekans Hoop Pearl was actually impossible to play because of the reach of the control stick. For the Pro controller, the reach of the stick is very small, making it impossible to gauge how far you need to pull back your stick. I will say though, when I switched to the N64 controller, I no longer had any of these problems. I don't know why these problems exist, but I hope they are fixed in the future. I didn't try the regular Joy-Cons, but if anyone has these issues, let me know down in the comments. The other major issues with the game is the ability to play it. There really is almost no way to play this game unless you have original hardware or you subscribe to the Nintendo Online service. I guess there's one other way you could play it. Anyways, that's all my thoughts on Pokemon Stadium. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a dislike. If you disagree with me, let me know down in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I'll catch you guys in the next one.